Yes, thank you, everybody. But now I'm sitting here fired up, so I don't even know what to say. Oh my God. You know, I think about the doctrine of discovery, and it was all about empire building. And they used religion as the psychological hook to transfer matriarchal societies all over this world that lived in balance with the natural world into the hierarchical patriarchy of control and domination, right? So, you know, it's just mind-boggling. And they did that to all of us in the Americas, dragging us through the gauntlet of accepting Christianity. But it was a hierarchical system that we were forced to accept. And then we were full of self-loathing, our communities. That's why we turn on one another even today, because they got a hold of our psychological faith, you know, and then our ancestors, you know, immediate ancestors die who've been Christianized, and we're going to follow our ancestors who have gone to this, you know, made up heaven space. And it just like disrupts everything about our identity and how we relate to the earth. And so now we have Christian people all over the Americas who internally turn on each other because of this self-loathing and not understanding, you know, who we are as sacred individuals living on this sacred planet. So it was always about the empire, and building empire was never about religion. And I think that's what people have to walk away here with, because we've all been manipulated into thinking this hierarchical structure that takes you above everything, and it just makes you judgmental about everything that surrounds you. You know, it's empire building. It had nothing, the doctrines had nothing to do with religion. They just used it. It's the tool, it's the hook. Anyway.
That was very powerful. I want to thank everyone for that panel. That was extraordinary. I think there's a lot to think about, a lot to reflect on. So I just want to acknowledge too that we got to keep on time and move into the next panel. I wanted to let everyone know, it's already been mentioned, but Beverly Jacobs cannot be with us tonight because of a tragedy that affected her family, and we've got her in our thoughts tonight. And so we're going to shift to the last panel of the conference, which is Jake Edwards, who's going to be teaching us about the past as a way of thinking about a more viable future. So Indigenous futures is kind of a theme tonight, and I think all of our futures lie with Indigenous values. And I'd like to evoke something that Oren Lyons said right at the beginning of the conference in his talk, was this very brief affirmation or warning, however you want to talk about it, from the United Nations and the group he worked with. Value change for survival. So our future is wrapped up with our Indigenous brothers and sisters, and and we need to help support them in advocating for their values. So to wind up, we have Jake Edwards, and we have Tink Tinker, great Tink Tinker, who has been a longtime friend of ours, and I'm so glad he's with us tonight. First, I'd like to give it back to Betty Lyons, who's going to talk about a little bit about the controversy around the Iroquois Nationals.